Hey, this is Thursday, November 14th. This is mostly for my regular class, but my advanced kids, if I find some of it useful, we're going to go through and try to help you guys out. If you guys are out there in the crowd, if you have iPad and you want to go, oh, wait, no. You don't need iPad. The handout, that's what you need. If you have the handout, you can put it on my desk. I don't care. We're going to try to help you out there. If not, I have things up there to help you. This is to walk you guys through the questions to try and make life a little bit better. Hi, let's see what happens. It's a Thursday afternoon. All right, so the thing that apparently we struggled with when it came to idioms, subject of a sentence. So what is the subject of this one? It says, after we win the game, my team is going to buy pizzas for a celebration. So on this one, we have to figure out, hang on, what does subject mean?
Like what it's all about.
No.
Ish?
Main idea. What?
It's like it's the person that's doing the thing.
There you go. So what it's all about, the person that's doing the action. First off, what is our action?
After the game.
Going
somewhere.
Oh.
So who's going somewhere?
The
team.
Nice. So what is the subject?
Team.
There you go. So figuring out who is doing the action, you have team, who is doing your action. So I am going to have a question tomorrow that's going to say, can you figure out the subject of the sentence? All right. Then on this one, a non-glowing literal definition of, before the musical started, poor Jimmy felt awful with all the butterflies in his stomach. First off, what does literal mean? Which definition is that?
What it actually means.
No, what it
Like
dumb
Word
definition.
By the way, what can you use on the quiz to help you?
No.
Just saying, if you had them, you could use them.
Word.
So hang on. So I hear word for word. I hear the what we know it to mean definition.
The funny one.
The
So-
stupid one.
Some of you guys say it's the common definition
No, it's the
and word for word definition.
The word for word.
Alright. I agree. So what would be the word for all the butterflies in his? Would be what?
He's
nervous.
nervous.
He has butterflies, or he has insect thingies in his intestines.
Because if you say he is nervous, that's not the literal. That's the
That's the common.
figurative. Figurative is what you know it to mean. Literal is where you're going to have to go through and replace it. So you said he has what in his? You said flappy things?
I said
Butterflies.
inside of his belly.
That would work. Winged animals inside of his belly. So that's one of the things you're going to have to do for it tomorrow. I'm going to give you idiom, and you're going to be able to explain to me either the figurative or the literal, knowing the difference and explaining it correctly. So I put all the flappy insects in his internal food pouch. Same idea.
Sophia said that.
This goes to the poems that you had to read on your own. So if you've not read them, it makes things a lot tougher. To help you, I have the poem on here. So I'm going to read through it real quick to help you. So this was as in the poem Birdfoot's Grandpa, what evidence in the poem can we use to prove that the speaker does not like what the grandpa keeps on doing? So to read the poem for you, we have Birdfoot's Grandpa. The old man must have stopped our car 24 times to climb out and gather into his hands the small toads blinded by our lights and leaping live drops of rain. The rain was falling, a mist about his white hair, and I kept saying, you can't save them all. Accept it. Get back in. We've got places to go. But leathery hands full of wet brown life, knee-deep in the summer roadside grass, he just smiled and said, they have places to go to, too. Come back later. I'm teaching. So in that one, what evidence would we use to say that he does not like what the speaker's doing?
Telling him to go back. Don't save them all.
You
That is
can't
one part of
save
it.
them all.
Saying you can't save them all will be one part of it. There's like 2 other things you could use
can't
as
save
evidence.
them all, accept it, get back in. We've got to go places.
So alright, I think there's also I think I also put in there how does he refer to the other character?
Old man.
I'm assuming if you have a grandfather and you refer to him as hey old man, that probably doesn't go over well. So the fact that he refers to his grandfather as old man probably would qualify as that meanness there. Calls him old man, can't save them all. You guys got it. Good job. You've got the places to go to too. Then Scarlet, can you close my door for me for more Thanks. In the poem Birdfoot's Grandpa, the poet keeps stressing that the toads are living things, live drops of rain, wet brown life. Why does he feel he needs to do this? So you have... All right. So once again, I'll show you that in a second. does he stress the fact that they're alive? Because drivers will always watch out for frogs, to remind us that even toads are still important, to show how brave the grandpa is with slimy things, or because the toads were all wet in the rain. So he's stressing the fact throughout this whole poem that the toads are alive. So the question is,
The first one.
so on this one, the idea throughout the poem, where he says the old man must have stopped our car 2 dozen times to climb out and gather into his hands the small toads. The rain. You guys know what a toad is?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a frog.
It's
So-
it has warts on it.
Typically, what are people's thoughts if you had to pick up toads?
Brown.
Gross.
Nicely done. So, he's, instead of saying that part, he's going through and talking about the fact that they're alive. And so he's stressing the fact that these toads are alive. So which of those would be the idea of stressing they're alive? What is he trying to say?
First one. So that drivers will always
So-
watch out for frogs.
So, you guys, so what do we go with?
No.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the one that makes sense to me.
So as opposed to the remind us that even toads are still important, to show how brave the grandpa is with slimy things, or because the toads were all wet in the rain.
It's either the
D.
first one or second one.
Because
I think
Not
D.
D.
Yeah.
we'll see by a show of hands. If you say the first one, second one,
I
You
don't
didn't raise your hand.
third
I
one,
don't know which one it is.
Oh wait, sorry.
fourth one. All right.
I don't know.
I'm back up time. So the whole reason of him trying to say they're alive is if you were driving and you saw a toad on the road, what would people do?
Run it over.
Probably run it over. But here's the thing. Toads are alive. That's why he keeps stressing the fact that they're alive. So by him stressing that they're alive, he's trying to tell you they're still important. Just because it's a toad, you shouldn't give up on it. All
raise your hand to
things
that.
matter, even
I
if they're
said
toads,
I was
even if they're
one and
disgusting.
two.
Mr. Brovicast.
I said I was between 1 and 2.
No. That's why.
It's a paper quiz.
So then, question 5, the rhyme scheme. So you have to figure out the rhyme scheme for one also. So once again, for rhyme scheme, we did Annabelle Lee. What is the first line of every poem?
A.
A.
B.
B.
C.
A.
A.
B.
B.
No. Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah.
A.
C.
C.
A.
And B.
B.
Nicely done. So as long as you can figure out rhyme scheme, you should be. You'll have another thing to try and figure out again. Does it rhyme? Does it not rhyme? Figure out first line. Hopefully helping you out with rhyme scheme. Part of what the issues I'm guessing going to come into for the quiz tomorrow is kids who've just not looked at the poems. Because as you saw with the toad one, if you've not even looked at the poems or looked at any of the questions, it's going to be a really tough quiz. Because it's going to require all that thinky bits. In the poem Little Things, it's this poem. It says, little things that run and quail and die in silence and despair, little things that fight and fail and fall on sea and earth and air, all trapped and frightened little things, the mouse, the coney, hear our prayer, as we forgive those done to us, the lamb, the linnet, and the hare. Forgive us all our trespasses, little creatures everywhere. Using your best understanding of what the poem is trying to teach us, what are the trespasses the poet refers to? So here at the very end, it's saying, you guys know what the word trespass means?
Yeah. To go somewhere you're not supposed to.
Nicely done. To go someplace you're not supposed to. So here the poet is saying, forgive us, little creatures, for going where we're not supposed to. But here, that is a metaphor for doing things to animals that you're not supposed to be doing. So it says, forgive us for going in doing these things that we're not supposed to be doing. So in this one, what is it referring to? Making the air unsafe for birds to fly through. Is that a thing that people do?
Yes.
Yes.
How do people make the air unsafe?
Pollution.
Polluting.
I would count that.
It could
Polluting
be
the water that kills the fish. Is that
Yeah.
something that humans do?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Building homes where the animals try to live.
Yes.
Yes.
Hunting the animals just for sport.
Yes.
So which one of those would be the thing that we do to get bad against the animals?
All of them.
So all of those are going to be trespasses again. So the idea is, what is it we do to trespass on these animals? We do all these bad things. Using the evidence in the poem, this we'll come back to, why would the author not include a bobcat or a lynx? If you don't know what a bobcat or a lynx is, it's something along those. It's like a really big, scary cat It lives out there like in the wildy, wintry spots.
It's not living in the
B.
forest.
B. B.
So as it does not live in forests, it can defend itself if attacked, it is not small enough to qualify, or it cannot fly, so it doesn't count. So of those, the poem,
Air B.
little things that run and quail and die in silence and despair, little things that fight and fail and fall in sea and earth and air, all trapped and frightened.
Hot question.
B.
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 So you're saying, is that the second one?
B.
Yeah.
Why B?
Because it can defend itself because
And it's not a little
really
thing.
it's not little, yeah.
It's pretty big.
It says
It's
it's
actually
almost
pretty
little
small.
on its own.
It's
You're pretty small.
big compared to all the other things it referred to.
Yes, true. In the poem, the idea is like a bear would not be included. Why would we not include a bear?
Because it's
Because
really
it's-
big
There you
and it
go.
can defend
The
itself.
whole idea here is that things that cannot fight back. Can this fight back?
Yes.
I would agree.
Claws.
So the fact that it can defend itself means it's not going to be included. So the whole poem is about try to have these animals that can't fight back forgive us because we do bad things to them. The poem, I'm Nobody. This poem right here. I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? Then there's a pair of us, don't tell. They banish us, you know. How dreary to be somebody. How public like a frog. To tell your name the livelong day to an admiring thought. Which of these what's the theme?
Like,
Like the,
Great
what it's
idea.
all about.
What it's about.
Hang on, what was the hand sign I showed you for theme?
What you learned?
Nicely done. For what you learned. So,
So
which
yeah.
of these, I know, it was like a month ago. Which of these themes best connects to what the poem is trying to get across? So I'll show you the poem again. Is it be kind to all the little animals, ignore everything and focus on
That one.
eating, nobody is important so they don't really try, or being popular can cause unhappiness?
A.
A.
Hang on, look at poem again.
One.
I'm nobody, who are
First.
you? Are you nobody too? Then there's a pair of us, don't tell. They banish us, you know. How dreary to be somebody, how public like a frog, to tell your name the livelong day to an admiring dog. Baby step. When it says, I'm nobody, meaning what kind of person is the speaker?
Nobody.
What does nobody mean?
It's not
Nobody.
popular.
That's just
You're
someone.
They're not popular.
Nicely done. And then it says, how dreary to be somebody. So if somebody is,
Popular kid.
Somebody.
nicely done.
But
What does dreary mean?
Like terrible. You're.
not
So it means
nice.
how terrible to be popular,
So deep.
how public like a frog, to tell your name the livelong day to an admiring dog. The first part, I'm nobody, I'm unpopular. Who are you? Are you unpopular too? Then there's two of us, don't tell. You guys know what banish means?
Like
Yeah.
take
Well,
away.
allowed.
Get rid of.
Now the thing is, popular kids can't necessarily kick you out of class, but how can popular kids banish you?
Bully.
Why not bully you and make
Yeah.
you feel like
Not
nobody
letting
fit
you
in?
fit in.
There you go. Bullying, not letting you fit in.
It's the
There's
same
other
thing.
ways to banish. So knowing that,
Yeah, fit in your bully.
what is the theme of this poem?
Make.
It could be D, but it could also be A.
It's D or A.
D.
A.
D.
Popular
D.
and
I like
happiness.
So why do you say A?
All little things.
I
So
say
D
A because like no matter
D.
what, how someone is, you should always be kind to them. So like
Hang
you
on.
know them.
Alright, so painter, why does A bother you?
Did you just say painter?
Painter. Alright.
Oh, I thought you said painter.
Piper and Painter. Yeah, Painter.
D.
I know.
Because they're not animals.
I would agree. That's my one to see which kids just sort of kept paying attention to the previous poem. This one doesn't talk about animals at all. It's just that whole trying to throw you
It
off.
says frog, but it's not talking about
Yeah.
a
It's not
frog.
talking about a frog.
Correct.
So D.
On this one, when it says how public like a frog, it means that popular kids just like to have attention on themselves. That says how public like a frog, they like to just keep making noise to make sure people keep looking at them.
D.
So then our best one would be,
D.
being popular can cause unhappiness. Nicely done. That same poem, using evidence from the poem, what would be the best guess as to who the speaker in the poem is? A principal that all the students hate, a friendly kid on the basketball team, a popular outgoing girl in the play,
D.
a dorky kid who doesn't talk to people.
D.
It's D.
D. Because
D.
it's I'm a
It's someone
nobody.
who like
Right,
nobody.
nobody's unpopular kids and dorky kids
D.
are popular.
B.
Well, dang.
She's just
She's
going
going
straight
straight
to
to
it.
Why?
Is
like-
correct. So if it says, I'm nobody, meaning the fact that I'm unpopular, so then who is the speaker going to, it goes back to figuring
A
out the speaker.
dorky kid who's
Nobody.
unpopular because dorky kids are normally not popular.
Hey.
Not throwing shade, just understanding poem.
Throw shit.
Caterpillar. Ooh, what is the refrain in the poem? What does refrain mean?
Repeating.
Repeating.
Repeating words.
So which of these lines is repeated? Now this is that whole having to actually go back and look in the poem.
Under the loop of honeysuckle.
So this is my which kids actually pay
I'll mind
attention.
my own business.
So old man's looking glasses are a type of flower.
No.
I'll mind my business has two meanings.
D.
The fifth stanza means he
D.
becomes a butterfly.
D.
Why D?
Because it
Oh,
says
Oh,
it.
yeah.
D.
It
Nicole?
repeats
It says it
honeysuckle.
more than once. It's like says it in
Did I say that? I just said
I know you did. I was just trying to be the person.
It's repeating.
I showed it. Apparently, you guys didn't see it. For the kids at home, so you can see the poem.
Yeah.
All right. And then you have I agree. On the
Yeah.
loop of honeysuckle, we'll show you the same thing.
Just
11.
honey.
From Annabelle Lee, the author repeats the E sound throughout the entire poem. Why is this sound repeated so many times? It's so. This one is one we didn't get a chance to get to in all of
They
our
all
classes.
die at some point.
But it has this sound E gets repeated multiple times throughout the whole poem.
Because it's talking about
creepy.
It is. What happens to the speaker throughout the poem?
Die.
No.
No.
It's depressed.
She
dies.
She dies. He's not. She is not the
goes
speaker.
crazy.
He goes
He's
crazy. That E sound is supposed to be him going crazy. Because you have Lee, E, C,
Because he's obsessing over Annabelle Lee.
and there's his obsession. It's supposed to be him going nuts throughout the poem. So it's the idea of as the poem goes along, he gets crazier and crazier. Well done. Okay, I stopped thinking about Annabelle Lee. And 12, why does the speaker believe the angels have such a strong need to kill the woman he loves? He knows it's just what all angels do. It wasn't their fault. The sea demons did it to make sure angel love was always the best, or it was revenge because they're human.
C.
Yes.
C.
Why C?
Because they were jealous of their love.
Nicely done.
Because it was more than love.
To make sure that they were jealous, and they want to make sure that their love is the best love. Well done.
But
So
it
if you
didn't-
understood these, the biggest thing will be the questions tomorrow are not the same questions, but they are similar.
You reworded.
I would recommend looking at the poems, looking at the homework, and then you should do fine. They can be slightly tough poems if you've never looked at them. As you saw with the I'm Nobody and then the one about like the Birdfuss Grandpa, I don't want to throw you off too much, but it's a whole read the poem and then understand it. Ashlyn?
That backfired because he went to her tomb and slept with her.
I know it was a little on the creepy side.
Mr. Brilliant.